YouTube, and welcome to another episode of Kincaid Creations. I'm your host, Spencer, as per the usual, but today we're going to be doing this a little bit differently. Today, I'm going to be doing a making of video. I'm making a new minifigure of Deadshot, based on the one from 2016, David Ayer's Suicide Squad. Hashtag release the Ayer cut. But anyway, much more importantly, that is what I'm going to be doing today. Now, I got the sculpt made, so his little wrist guns, they're made, but I hadn't painted them because I want you guys to get to see the state they're in, and then I'm going to show you how I paint them in this video. This is also the method that I use to paint up all of my other figures, every single one. So, let's get this flipped around. Clayface seemed to want to tip over. And I will probably in the future make a custom Clayface, just because he's like one of my favorite characters ever. Anyways, this is the Deadshot minifigure, and as you can see, the wrist gauntlets turned out really, really well. But I still have to paint them, obviously. So I got an image for reference online, kind of did the best I could to memorize it. Thankfully, that's pretty simple for me. But the main thing here that we start with is going to be a bit of maroon paint, this kind here. See, what I did, if I can find the camera, there we go. Now, as you can see, that little glob of paint is the maroon paint we're going to use. Now, what I'm going to do, and this is the delicate part, take it right there and just smooth it out. There we go. See, just like that. Notice it turns out better usually when you cake it on a little and put just like a whole coat of paint that is essentially one sealed spot, if you will. And once I get it done better, you'll see kind of what I mean. But you want it to all be connected together, basically. Sorry, I know this isn't the best in the frame. I got to do this one-handed, essentially, so it's much more difficult than my usual. But as you can see, I got the gauntlet all right around there, best I could. Now we're going to do this, and this is how I do it. There are much better ways than this, but I just take the push pin. I get the paint to kind of come out as much as I can, close to the edge, and then I just swipe up a big glob like that. And then I use that to do the adding on. There we go. There we go. So now what we're going to do, I'm going to put a pause on the video, let that dry, paint up the other one, and come back to this here in a few minutes. Alright, hey everybody. We are back for the moment. The paint has gotten fairly dry on Deadshot's wrist guns, as you can kind of see here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and add the golden details using my little bottle of Inca Gold Folk Art metallic paint here. That's the brand I use for metallics. Usually it is the best one I've found for that part. There we go, just a touch. Now, we take them right here and we get that applied just to the barrel, but not on the spot where we painted on, just a touch of black to get it to look right. You know, make it look like the actual barrel of the gun. Come on now, just a touch, just a touch. There we go, get it all around. Perfect. So that's one barrel done. And in the pictures I've looked at, the top barrels of his wrist guns are gold, and the bottom ones are gunmetal. I'm going to paint them up just like that, because that's probably my best option, easiest to find. Focus up, camera. There we go. Good. Perfect. Perfect. Now, I know this video is going to run a little long, so not everyone will be as interested, but this is the tutorial. This is basically how I do what I do. So for those of you who want to know how to do the same things, this is how I do it. But it takes an incredible level of patience, I'm not going to lie. And a lot of times you got to think a little outside of the box. That's if you want to get all the details. But yeah, I think that's the top barrels of both wrist guns done. So now I'm going to let that dry a bit, and then we'll come back in a minute. Alright, we're back again, everybody. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my gunmetal gray metallic and get the bottom barrels. If the maroon is dried enough, I'll also get the 2 middle strips where it says "I am the light the way" on his guns. So unfortunately, since my phone's storage capacity is not the greatest and I'm not exactly sure how to use the camera, I have to do this all from memory. Luckily, for pictures and stuff, my mind is like a steel trap in at least some cases. There we go. But you just want to get a little bit of paint at a time, because there's never a rush. You want to go slowly, almost as slow as you can. Because by going very slowly, you can get so much more detail captured. There we go. Almost got it done. That's it. That should be the one. Alright, so that's that one, or that barrel done. Now what I do, I make sure to have a paper towel nearby so I can wipe my brush, quote unquote, off using it. And for brushes, it's just a regular old push pin. The non-metal paint, that is Apple Barrel brand. That's usually the best one to use. By the way, in the beginning, if you notice the Deadshot gauntlets, they were actually made from 2 toothpicks for each of the barrels and a couple of Lego hands that I sliced up and put together to make a new little piece. Oh, I did not have that in the frame of the camera. Didn't realize it. But like I said, right now we're just getting the barrels of his guns painted. When we get these done, we give it a minute, let it dry, and then we'll add the last couple of details he's got on these little things. There we go. Touch more. And I think Deadshot is all good on that part. So yeah, that is the gauntlets pretty much painted up. We'll come back here in a few minutes and I'll add the last few details.